Hello, everyone, and welcome back. For all of you focused learners out there who love unpacking history's greatest, untold stories, you are in the exact right place. Today's explainer is going to take us way back in time to uncover a truly incredible narrative. We're talking bravery, tactical genius, and a monumental figure in Indian history that has just gone under the radar for way too long. Okay, let's dive into this historical mystery. All right, I want to drop you right into the middle of a totally chaotic, terrifying, and honestly bloody scene. The date, November 16th, 1857. The location is Sikandar Bagh in Lucknow. The British army is advancing, marching forward to secure the area. But suddenly, the ranks are completely broken. Without any warning whatsoever, soldiers are just dropping dead. Panic sets in immediately because they cannot see their attacker anywhere. There's no line of infantry in front of them, no artillery fire from some distant hill. The enemy is literally invisible. Yet, these lethal shots just keep coming, one after another, throwing the advancing forces into total, absolute disarray.
And the details of this attack, they're incredibly precise and, frankly, pretty gruesome. The source material tells us that the soldiers weren't just catching stray bullets, right? They were being targeted with absolute pinpoint accuracy. Some were hit directly in the chest, others took fatal shots to the head, or were struck right in the stomach. And as these troops fell, one by one, it actually took them a considerable amount of time to realize a truly terrifying fact. The attack wasn't coming from ground level. This invisible threat was raining down on them from high above. Death, quite literally, was waiting for them up in the trees. To truly understand the gravity of this whole moment, we really have to look at the year, 1857. Now, this is the era of the Great Indian Revolution, a massive, fiery uprising against British colonial rule. So it was a time of immense turmoil, fierce battles, and pretty desperate measures all around. But what makes our story today so absolutely remarkable isn't just the context to that rebellion. It's the fact that right in the middle of this massive historical event, a totally ordinary citizen made the extraordinary, wildly dangerous decision to take up arms. She stepped right into a heavily fortified combat zone to fight for her land.
Section 1. The Unseen Sniper. So, this unseen terror we've been talking about, it wasn't a highly trained military general or some entire squad of sharpshooters. No, it was India's very first female sniper, Uda Devi Pasi. Now, in a time when women were rarely seen anywhere near the front lines of battle, she didn't just participate. She meticulously planned her attack and completely controlled that battlefield. First, she actually disguised herself in men's clothing to avoid detection and suspicion. Then, rather than fighting on the ground, where, she'd be easily outnumbered, she chose a totally unique, high vantage point. She climbed way up into the thick, concealing branches of a tall peepal tree. And from this hidden perch, she just unleashed a rapid, invisible attack, firing relentlessly. The British soldiers down below were completely baffled. They could hear the loud, rapid gunfire, but because she was so well camouflaged in all that foliage, they couldn't locate the enemy at all.
So, the crucial point is the devastating result of her tactical genius. 36 British soldiers were taken down by her alone. Just let that sink in for a second. This wasn't just a couple of lucky shots. This was a sustained, highly calculated, and incredibly effective solo offensive. One incredible individual, hidden up in a peepal tree, successfully held off an advancing unit and inflicted massive casualties before they could even figure out where the bullets were coming from. It's just wild.
Section 2. A Hero's Sacrifice. But as with so many stories of incredible wartime bravery, this confrontation reaches a tragic yet deeply heroic climax. Obviously, the relentless fire couldn't last forever. Tracing the timeline of her final harrowing moments, it really began when the sheer volume of casualties eventually led a British officer to finally pinpoint that dense canopy up above. He issued a strict warning. The sniper in the tree had finally been found. Having expended all her ammunition, or perhaps just realizing her position was utterly compromised, Uda Devi Pasi boldly descended from those branches. She was immediately surrounded by heavily armed forces. And, in a tragic end to her fierce stand, she was riddled with bullets, becoming a martyr right then and there for the cause of Indian independence.
Section 3. The Shocking Reveal. Now, what's really interesting about this reveal is that you kind of have to put yourself in the boots of those British soldiers in the immediate aftermath of the battle, right? They'd just taken heavy losses, their men are lying dead all around them. Cautiously, they approached the fallen sniper to see exactly who could have orchestrated such a devastating, highly skilled attack against them. Now, based on the sheer ferocity, the high body count, and that deadly accuracy we talked about, they were absolutely convinced they were going to find a massive, heavily built male marksman who had just single-handedly decimated their ranks. But the reality? It left them in utter shock. Looking past the men's clothing she wore as a disguise, they realized their devastating opponent was a woman. It was this profound realization that entirely shattered their assumptions about exactly who was fighting them in this revolution.
Section 4. A lasting modern legacy. You know, for a really long time, the massive sacrifices made by women in the 1857 revolution were kind of overlooked. But today, that legacy stands 12 feet tall. A towering statue now bridges the gap between those bloody historical battlefields and modern-day recognition. It's a massive, physical reminder of the heights she climbed, both literally up in that peepal tree and metaphorically as a revolutionary fighter, ensuring her name and her incredible tactical brilliance are never, ever forgotten. The details of this modern recognition are actually firmly cemented in very recent history. To honor her legacy, this magnificent statue was officially unveiled on November 16, 2025, and that's a date chosen specifically to mark the exact anniversary of her historic battle at Sikandar Bagh. The dedication ceremony was led by senior government officials. It was officially dedicated by India's Defense Minister, Rajnath Singh, alongside the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath. This formal unveiling marks her official transition from what was once a hidden historical figure to a widely celebrated national heroine. And honestly, that leaves us with a really profound thought to wrap up our explainer today. When we look at the incredible hidden story of Uda Devi Pasi, this completely ordinary woman who donned men's clothing, climbed a tree, and forever altered the course of a battle, it begs the question: how many other ordinary individuals have made extraordinary, unsung sacrifices in history? Our history is just packed with these hidden gems waiting to be uncovered, and understanding them totally changes how we view the past. Thank you so much for joining me today, Focus Learners. Keep asking questions, keep looking for the real stories behind the headlines, and I absolutely cannot wait to dive into our next amazing topic with you.